Hey, and welcome. I'm your host, and today we're diving into something that's at the core of everything we do. How on earth do we learn? I mean, seriously, think about that. You get instructions for your phone, your car, heck, even your toaster. But what about the most complicated, most powerful machine you'll ever own? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to crack open the user's manual for your brain. We'll look at the hardware, the operating system, and the best software upgrades to boost your performance. So let's get into it. First things first, let's talk about the hardware itself. A lot of people think the brain you have as an adult is just done, a finished product. But the truth is, it's so much more exciting and dynamic than that. It's really a two-way street. Every single thing you learn, literally every new fact or skill, physically changes your brain. It strengthens some connections and lets other, unused ones fade away. And this isn't just something that happens when you're a kid. It's this constant, lifelong dance between what you experience and your own biology. And this leads to this really fascinating trade-off that happens as we get older. On one side, you have your fluid reasoning. That's kind of like your brain's raw processing power for solving brand new problems. It peaks when you're a young adult. But on the other side, you have your accumulated knowledge, your own personal library of experience and wisdom, and that just keeps growing your entire life. So, what's the takeaway? We compensate. We might be a little slower on some totally new puzzle, but we have this massive database of past experiences to pull from, and that actually makes it way easier to learn new things that connect to what we already know. Okay, so that's the hardware. But, hardware is only as good as its operating system, right? For our brains, that OS is basically written by the world around us. Our physical environment, sure, but especially our social world. And the research here is just crystal clear. If you want your brain to run at peak performance, these four things are absolutely non-negotiable. Think of them as the core system files for learning. Good friends, good sleep, regular exercise, and healthy food. They're not just nice-to-haves, they are fundamental to how well you can think and learn. And to see just how critical that social connection piece is, you only have to look at a tragic but incredibly powerful real-world example. Studies of kids in Romanian orphanages found that even when they had enough food and shelter, the deep lack of a stable, loving connection had devastating effects on their development. It's just a stark reminder that we are wired to be social creatures. Our brains need that connection to truly thrive. So if our environment is the operating system, what about the actual software? Well, the good news is our brains come with this amazing suite of pre-installed learning programs. Let's take a look at a few of these killer apps. First up is your brain's master pattern detector. This thing is like an automatic code breaker that's always running in the background. It's this incredible process where you just absorb the rules of a system by being exposed to it. You're not even consciously trying, your brain just does it. It's happening right now, actually, as your brain soaks up the patterns in my speech. And get this, it starts so early. Researchers played a totally random stream of nonsense syllables to 8-month-old babies. But buried inside that wall of sound were repeating words like bidaku. And with no pauses, no hints, nothing, the baby's brains picked up on the statistical patterns and learned to recognize the words. It's just amazing. It's the very foundation of how we learn language. Okay, the next app is one we are using constantly, every single day. Learning by watching. This might be the most fundamental human skill we have. It's how culture gets passed down. We see how other people do things, how they solve problems, and we just absorb it into our own toolkit, often without anyone saying a single word. And this isn't just for simple stuff. Take the online game Folded, where players from all over the world are trying to solve the super complex puzzle of protein folding for actual science. How do they do it? They team up, they share what works, and they are constantly learning by observing the moves of the top players. It is high-level, collaborative learning, and it's happening by watching each other. And now, for what might just be the brain's superpower, its most powerful app, inferential reasoning. This is where we go beyond just taking in information. This is your brain acting like an inventor, creating brand new knowledge just by connecting the dots between things it already knows. Just think about that for a second. Nobody had to explicitly teach you that. Your brain took two separate facts, smashed them together, and out popped a completely new insight. This is how we build our understanding of the world. We aren't just empty buckets waiting for information. We are active creators of knowledge. Okay,
So we've got the hardware, the operating system, and the built-in software. Now for the really fun part. How do we upgrade our own performance? Well, the science points to some incredibly powerful, high-impact strategies. These four right here, they're the game changers. Time and time again, research shows how effective they are. Now, I'll be honest, they don't always feel easy, but that's kind of the point. They are powerful ways to build knowledge that actually sticks around. Let's break down a few of them. Cramming. We have all been there, right? Pulling an all-nighter before a big test. And sure, it might get you through the exam, but ask yourself a week later, and that information is gone. Poof! Spaced practice is the total opposite. When you spread your learning out over time, you force your brain to work a little harder to recall the info. And it's that effort, that little bit of struggle, that builds strong, long-term memories. Okay, this one is huge because almost everyone gets it wrong. Just rereading your notes over and over is one of the least effective ways to learn. It feels productive, but it's totally passive and creates this false sense of knowing. The real magic happens with active retrieval. That means closing the book and forcing yourself to pull the information out of your own head. The very act of retrieving it is like doing a rep at the gym for your memory. It makes it stronger. Blocked practice is what feels natural, right? You practice all the A problems, then all the B problems. But it turns out that mixing them up, interleaving, is way more effective. Why? Well, because it forces your brain to do two things. First, it has to figure out what kind of problem it's looking at, and then it has to figure out how to solve it. It feels harder, for sure, but it's amazing for learning how to tell different concepts apart. And that really brings us to the most important point of all. Your ability to learn isn't some fixed thing you're just born with. It's not a trait, it's a skill. And by understanding how your brain actually works, the hardware, the OS, the software, you can actively choose better strategies to make your learning so much more effective. So there you have it. You got the user's manual, you have the tools to upgrade your own system. The only question left is, what incredible new thing are you going to learn next? Thanks for digging into this with me.